Good afternoon. Welcome to the January 8th, 2024 meeting of the Sacramento Regional Transit Board of Directors. This is a hybrid meeting. Members of the public can participate in the meeting either in person or virtually. This meeting is being live streamed, and the slide on the screen shows the information on how to join the webinar via Zoom. You can also call into the meeting at 253-215-8782. The webinar address code is 837-933-8162. Would the clerk please call the roll?
Director Brewer?
Present.
Director Budge?
Here.
Director Daniels?
Here.
Director Hume?
Here.
Director Jennings?
Here.
Director Kozlowski?
Here.
Director Maple?
I am here, and I would like to request the ability to participate remotely due to an illness, and I'm the only person in the room.
Thank you, Director Maple. Director Cerna?
Here.
Director Singh Allen?
Pardon me, I'm present. Pardon my voice. I also would like to participate remotely because I am sick and cannot be there physically in person. Thank you.
Thank you.
And Director Valenzuela?
Here.
And today, the City of Sacramento appointed Director Vang to take over for Director Laloe. Director Vang?
I am here.
And Chair Kennedy.
Here. All right, well, want to start before we get into the message. I do want to extend a hearty welcome to Director Vang and Director Brewer. Welcome to Regional Transit. I think that you'll find that we're a pretty easy bunch to get along with, and look forward to working with you. And with that, can the clerk please read the statement?
Okay, with that, we have a quorum with 12 votes in this meeting of the Sacramento Regional Transit District will be cablecast on Metro Cable 14, the local government affairs channel on Comcast, Consolidated Communications, and AT&T Uverse cable systems. This meeting is closed caption and webcast at metro14live.saccounty.gov. Today's meeting replays Sunday, January 14th at 11:30 a.m. and Wednesday, January 17th at 2 p.m. on Channel 14. This meeting can also be viewed at youtube.com/Metro Cable 14. Members of the audience wishing to address the board should fill out a speaker card located on the side of the room and provide it to myself or Adam. Once the item has been called, additional speaker cards will not be accepted. The time allowed for public comment is at the chair's discretion. The timer will chime when you have 30 seconds remaining and then again when your time is up. If you're participating by phone, please push *9 to indicate a desire to comment. If you're joining us through Zoom, please push the raise hand button. Be sure to unmute yourself when it is your turn to speak and voluntarily state your name for the record. Any written comment that was received by 1:00 p.m. today has been provided to the board and will be filed in the record.
Thank you very much. Would you please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, that takes us to consent items 2.1 to 2.6. Are there any members of the board that would like anything pulled from consent or have any questions of staff at this time?
Chair Kennedy, I'll abstain from item 2.1, given that I wasn't here at the last meeting.
Okay, thank you. The record reflect that. Is there any member of the public that would like an item discussed that is currently on consent, non-controversial items? Okay, hearing none, is there a motion?
So moved. Second.
Okay, we have a motion from Director Cerna, a second from Director Kozlowski, noting that Director Vang's comments earlier. Please call the roll.
Director Brewer?
Aye.
Director Budge?
Yes.
Director Daniels?
Aye.
Director Hume?
Aye.
Director Jennings?
Yes.
Director Kozlowski?
Aye.
Director Maple?
Aye.
Director Cerna?
Aye.
Director Singh Allen?
Aye.
Director Valenzuela?
Yes.
Director Vang?
Yes, with an abstention at item 2.1.
Okay, and Chair Kennedy.
Aye.
And the consent calendar passes with 12 votes.
Thank you very much. That takes us to our unfinished business, item 4.1. As before we have the staff report, I would like to, for clean housekeeping purposes, to keep things moving, I would like to make the motion that we reconsider the board vote on item 7.1 Dos Rios Light Rail Station project that was taken by this board November 13th, 2023.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by the chair, second by Director Cerna. Please call the roll, for this is strictly for reconsideration.
Director Brewer,
Aye.
Director Budge,
Yes.
Director Daniels,
No.
Director Hume,
Aye.
Director Jennings,
Yes.
Director Kozlowski,
Yes.
Director Maple,
Aye.
Director Cerna,
Aye.
Director Singh Allen,
Aye.
Director Valenzuela,
Yes.
Director Vang,
Yes.
and Chair Kennedy.
Aye.
Motion passes with 11 votes.
Thank you. And now we have a board presentation from Laura Ham. Hang on.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Oh, there we go. Okay, so we're back in front of you tonight with a more comprehensive presentation as was requested related to the potential reconsideration action on the Dos Rios Light Rail Station. Got a presentation coming up here. You can go ahead and skip to the fourth slide, Adam, please. The Dos Rios project includes the construction of a new station on the Sac-RT Blue Line at North 12th Street, the construction and realignment of approximately 1,400 feet of track and other components. If the project is authorized, we would expect to commence construction in spring of 2024 and complete construction in late 2026. So giving you a quick update on our project progress to date and jumping all the way down to November of 2023 when the board took action to support an alternative project. And then following that meeting, SHRA requested a 60-day extension from the Strategic Growth Council to formulate a corrective action and funding plan for the station project. The extension was approved on December 4th, and a final corrective action response is required by February 1st. In December, Sac-RT's request for $10 million in SB 125 funding was approved by the SACOG board. In addition, Sac-RT released an invitation for bids for the station project in December, and bids are due on February 22nd. So just prior to the December 11th board meeting, Vice Chair Jennings submitted a request to Chair Kennedy to bring the item back to the board for reconsideration and approval due to new developments that, had they been known at the time of the original vote, may have changed the outcome of that vote. And next, I'll go into more detail regarding those new developments, which are also shared in the staff report. So as I mentioned previously, SHRA requested and received an extension on the corrective action plan submittal from the SGC. In the response letter granting that extension, the SGC states that that alternative projects must meet several criteria, including full community support and permanency. And they gave examples of infrastructure projects in that response, indicating that the substitute bus service may not meet the criteria of permanency or community support stipulated by SGC in that letter. The next piece of new information is related to project funding. A quick background, the status of the project is included in the RT capital program. The project is included in the FY24 capital budget approved by the board back in June. The project cost at that time was updated to $43 million, with $22 million funded in the budget and $21 million unfunded. Like all capital projects approved in the capital budget, we worked diligently in the pursuit of grants to fill funding gaps. The good news is that we were able to submit that request for $10 million of SB 125 and received approval from SACOG for that funding in mid-December, providing approximately $33.8 million in funding for the project. So Sac-RT staff has also been evaluating and planning to apply for other recently announced grant opportunities that are likely to provide additional gap funding for the project. And noted here, we have the RAISE grant, TIRCP Cycle 7, and the EPA Community Change Program. Based on the merit criteria for each of these grant programs, the Dos Rios project is a strong candidate for each. And also to our benefit is the ability to leverage already secured funds. Advocacy of elected officials has been key to Sac-RT's grant success in recent years with projects such as light rail modernization and others. With Dos Rios, we have the strong advocacy of Senator Ashby, who has agreed to support SACRT's proposal to request TIRCP Cycle 7 funding and other options for additional funding. We're actively preparing to submit applications for these grants, which are expected to be awarded this summer. So an additional emphasis in SHRA's written request to SGC was the fact that the project incorporates more than $100 million in leveraged funding from other grants allocated to SHRA projects within the project boundaries and contingent on the construction of a light rail station at the site. Go ahead and go to the next slide, Adam. As we committed when the project was last discussed, we have continued to look for cost efficiencies and value engineering opportunities. Since the November meeting, we have secured contracts for third-party flagging services, providing us with actual costs for that service. With those actual costs and a refinement of the project schedule, potentially reducing the number of days for construction, we believe that we can reduce costs by about $1.2 million from the original estimate. This reduces our project shortfall from $9.2 million to approximately $8 million. You go to the next one, please. So nearing the end of our presentation, I wanted to provide a quick update on the site cleanup efforts, which I know some board members have raised questions about due to it being a potential area where we could experience increased costs. Our station project is a partnership between SHRA and SACRT, among others. However, the light rail station site with the adjoining Triangle property is owned by SHRA, and the station will be constructed and maintained by SACRT under a property easement. SHRA has completed a site management plan that lays out the requirements regarding construction work that will impact the soil on the site. The plan has been approved by the California Department of Toxic Substance Control and spells out conditions for soil handling and disposal and maintaining worker safety from the contaminated soil. SHRA has also completed hotspot remediation work on the site to bring certain contaminant levels in the soil within acceptable levels. Final test results have been completed and presented to DTSC for their approval. The current update from SHRA is that the report is going through that final review by DTSC. SHRA will continue to be responsible for additional cleanup efforts if needed, but the major site cleanup is complete at this time. So I'll wrap up the presentation with a quick review of the new information available since the action in November. SHRA was granted additional time to develop a corrective action plan, now due February 1st. $10 million in SB 125 funds have been allocated to the project, increasing our available funding to approximately $33 million. Bids have been released and bids are due February 22nd. SGC sent a clarification with the extension stating that alternative projects require permanency and community support. Several potential grant programs are available in the near future that would likely address additional project gaps, and Senator Ashby has indicated her strong support for additional funding if needed. SHRA states that $100 million in leverage funding is tied to the project, and through cost efficiencies and value engineering, we have reduced the project costs by at least $1.2 million. So based on the information provided, staff recommends that the board approve a motion to reconsider the November 13th vote, as you already have. And if the board agrees to reconsider the item, that the board move to rescind the November 13th vote, and that the board move to adopt a new motion to direct the general manager CEO to allocate sufficient funding to fill the budget shortfall and proceed with the construction of the Dos Rios light rail station at this time. That concludes our presentation. Thank you.
Thank you. Director Cerna.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So I know that just judging by the size of the gallery this evening, there continues to be a great deal of community interest in this important project. So in terms of what I would like to contribute ahead of hearing from them is to offer my thanks first and foremost to the community, not just those who live at Marisol Village, or those that are members of the River District PBID, but others, even agency folks that have been very uniquely vocal on this important prospect. I'm going to go ahead and make the motion ahead of time to rescind and to direct our general manager to move forward with the alternate funding arrangement to fill the gap and move the project forward. And I want to do it in this order. Typically, we make motions hearing from the public first, but I think this may give, assuming there's a second, give the public something very tangible to respond to in their comments. I just want to conclude with the fact that while this has been a sometimes frustrating barn raising of sorts, involving a lot of actors, I think, assuming there is an affirmation for this tonight, it is a better project. It is a better process that we've gone through. And as was just alluded to at the conclusion of the staff report, even some budget savings. So while it has taken a few more weeks than perhaps many of us would have liked, I think hopefully we can leave these chambers this evening knowing that not only is this a critical component to our regional light rail system going to move forward, but that it was done, it was deliberated with a great deal of forethought and respect, quite frankly, for the fact that we are a regional body. It's been made clear time and time again, this is not the Sacramento, City of Sacramento Transit District or the County of Sacramento Transit District. This is a regional district made up of elected representatives from other cities that are served by our system. And so I think, again, speaking to the process being what it is and what we've gone through, I think we necessarily probably had to go through some of those growing pains to satisfy, I think, some very valid concerns by those that don't directly represent the area. There's only two of us on this board that directly represent that specific part of the city of Sacramento. But because the system is a regional one, I think we can all make very sound arguments in very quick order that this needs to have a regional consideration to it. And I think we can safely say that that has been achieved. So I'm going to go ahead and make that motion and ask for a second before we hear from the public.
I would like to make a second. This is Director Singh Allen. And if I may speak.
I was going to call on you next.
Okay, I wasn't sure if people were chomping at the bits there. Thank you.
Go ahead.
Thank you. And sage comments, Mr. Cerna. My apologies for not being there in person, and Happy New Year's to everybody. While I can't see all of the residents that are in attendance, I can only imagine that the room is filled with interested parties. I think it's really important for some of the reasons that Director Cerna outlined. This is a regional body, and while the process may have been messy, we are in a better place. And this is also a learning point for all of us to work collaboratively as a region for the best interest of the community, of all communities. I've had several meetings with our general manager with assurances that there wouldn't be cuts to our respective cities and communities. So there would be, none of our communities would be penalized for these additional allocations. We've seen the funding outline, which I think is very clear. So I appreciate that. And I think everyone that has been waiting patiently, want to thank you for your patience, but we needed to do our due diligence at the same time. And this is, again, also to Director Cerna's point, we are a regional body. We will all have different needs at different times, but these are the moments where we must come together in the best interest of the community, the greater community, and the region. So I also look forward and want to thank Senator Ashby for her efforts, and will do my part in advocating for additional funding as well. So with that, I'm happy to provide the second for this vote. Thank you.
Thank you. Director Hume.
Thank you, Chair. I appreciate the comments that have been levied so far, and I just want to go on record, given the tenor of the comments from the last meeting, that I'm prepared to support the motion tonight. Because in the time from the last meeting, I too have had several sit-down meetings with our general manager to learn that the SB 125 funding is now a certainty, It still, I think, is a zero-sum game, but regardless, it is nonetheless identified. Also, the extension from the Strategic Growth Council, as well as the admonition, if you will, that any alternative solution would have to have permanency built into it. And I think that while the sort of circulator bus stopgap measure that we had identified would have worked and would have served the community, I don't think any of us viewed that as being a permanent solution. It was a stopgap measure until we could identify funding to go forward with this light rail station. And then the last piece I will say is the efforts, as was mentioned by my colleague Mayor Singh-Allen, from Senator Ashby. I've had several phone conversations with her. She really leaned in on this and wanted to be sure that she would do everything she could at the state level to, one, make sure that this moves forward appropriately, but also that where she can, she'll advocate for RT on other projects to quote unquote, make up the difference, if you will. Obviously, that's in light of all the budget woes that we're hearing the state having right now, but nonetheless, I feel more comfortable, as has been mentioned, that although this was an inelegant process, whereas we were, at least it felt to me, we were being rushed to make a decision because of arbitrary timing, with a lot of funding questions still hanging out there. Now we've been granted the time to take that breath, take a closer look, and really at least begin, and I expect that this process will continue, but begin to sharpen the pencil and bring those costs down and make it more viable. So I just wanted to put that out on the record. Thank you.
Thank you, Director. Any others before we go to public comment? Okay, seeing none, then we will go to public comment. And let me just say that we have, on more than one occasion now taken public comment on this. So if there's any way that you could truncate your message and try not to repeat as much as possible. I want to give you every opportunity to say what you came to say. But I think, it doesn't take a huge mathematician to see where the numbers are going at this point. So with that, I will call Barbara Stanton.
Good evening.
Mic drop.
Okay, let's just throw it across the room. No, totally embarrassed now. Good afternoon, Chair Kennedy and directors. Barbara Stanton, Ridership for the Masses and the Sacramento Resident Advisory Board. I really need to change the verbiage on this, but I'll just go through it. After 37 years of moving people from point A to point B, the light rail still remains the most reliable service SAC-RT has to offer. After the board rejected the Dos Rios station, some board members and others took action to obtain an extension of the grant and money to fill the gap. They were successful. There are several reasons to go forward, and I'm sure other speakers will bring it all the reasons that will fulfill the promise made to the residents of Sacramento. Ridership for the Masses urges the board to go forward, to approve and go forward with the station while continuing to provide Route 33 Dos Rios support until the station is built. And the vision is complete and the promise is fulfilled. Thank you.
Thank you, Barbara. Robert Copeland. And so that the audience can see, we have set the timer at 2 minutes per speaker. Go ahead.
I have a question for Henry Lee. Have you contacted Doris Matsui and Ami Bear about this project and other projects that affect RT? I think that might be a good idea. Get federal funding so we don't go through this mess again. And I think it should be approved. Thank you.
Thank you. Dan Allison.
Good evening, board members. Dan Allison speaking.
Can you pull the
on
mic
behalf
up a
of-
little bit there, Dan? There, thank you. Thank you.
Dan Allison, speaking on behalf of Sacramento Transit Advocates and Riders. We are pleased that the direction seems to be to approve the light rail station. It was a commitment made to Mirasol Village, and we're glad to see it being followed through. And I'll take this opportunity to say that affordable housing doesn't work without good transit service, and vice versa. You can't have effective transit service without enough housing. And this is a chance to bring those two things together in a very effective way. So we are in complete support of the motion and of Dos Rios Light Rail Station. Thank you.
Thank you. Catherine Canepa?
Hello, Catherine Canepa with Civic Thread. We are also, that better?
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, I'm tall.
No, it's a tough mic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're fully in support of fully funding the light rail station moving forward. I think you've heard from residents and a lot of stakeholders in the community and how important this is. This is also really important for the future of the River District. And I just can't impress more how much this could change people's lives for the better and give them access to resources, jobs, and just connectivity to their families and friends who live in other parts of the city. Mirasol Village is really a transit desert right now. We do have the bus, but as people have shared, there are a lot of improvements that need to be made. And just very encouraged to hear that the tide seems to be changing on this. And thank you for reconsidering.
Thank you. Coco Cocazella?
Coco Cocazella, District 4 resident. Yeah, I will certainly modulate what I wrote. And I don't know what all y'all are thinking, but I am, gratified to see some direction to fulfill this project. So, and focusing a bit on what some of you had said about it being a regional transit system rather than just a city or, county. Again, notwithstanding that, not fulfilling a promise to this particular well-researched and now better funded thing, it doesn't really save the region anything in my mind. I'm glad that the directors were able to find out that their particular districts won't be negatively impacted. So that's good, but I do continue to support this vehemently. I think Laura did an excellent job of pointing out, what's going on recently. Especially wanted to point out the bit that already directors and Laura have pretty much focused on, which is the alternative solution would need to be per SGC support would need to be immediate, permanent, and advocated by the community. And I don't think the bus is going to be able to fulfill all of those. So, yeah, I don't need to read this whole thing. I hope this doesn't get terribly pushed again too much into the rhetoric of regional versus this specific project. This project has done due diligence, has made promises to the community, impacts future partnerships. As Dan said, transit-driven development, all this stuff is super important for the city to be a trailblazer in this. Thank you.
Thank you. Jeffrey Tartagia.
I will say that Jeffrey Tartagia for SAC-TRU, for CAT, and for another transit representations. Fully support of the project. I will, but also offer is please bring more public procedures in here to recognize every time you've done it, you come up with a better project and better procedures for the future. You have two other light rail stations that are forecast, and I wonder if their costs have also gone up. Lastly, I will offer is it should have been anticipated the 33 for the 100 or 200 plus residents through there, that they not have no transportation for the weekend and have to go a mile to get to the Green Line light rail station. That should be anticipated in future projects. I hope RT will anticipate the needs of public transportation in a better manner than they currently have. And I'll reference again the I-80 location and still what needs to be done there. And with that, I end.
Thank you, Jeffrey. Sam Greenlee.
Good evening, Sam Greenlee, Executive Director of Alchemist Community Development Corporation. I'll keep it short. I really appreciate the board bringing this back for consideration, for the staff working alongside to bring this back for consideration. I know it's very unusual and unique for an elected body to bring something back just 2 months later and consider again. So I appreciate the work that has gone into that. We remain fully in support of this. And I'd just like to make a note too. Our nonprofit is not just a City of Sacramento nonprofit either. We serve the greater Sacramento region. And our immersion in this project has really highlighted for me the need for us to engage in advocating in other regions as well for increased access in Elk Grove, in unincorporated county, in Rancho and Citrus Heights. And we look forward to partnering to help ensure that those vulnerable communities in these neighborhoods too are served as well. So thank you.
Thank you. Devin Strecker.
Good afternoon, board members. I'm Devin Strecker, Executive Director of the River District PBID, but also a recent new resident of the River District. So I just want to thank you, first of all, for reconsidering this and for all the work that board members and staff have put into looking into all the funding options and everything to make this project move forward. Ultimately, you've heard a lot from the community already, and I think it's really a testament to SAC-RT that we are fighting so hard to get your service in our neighborhood. But we are trying to revitalize the River District and make it more part of downtown and a hub for the whole region. So bringing jobs, bringing employers, bringing residents. I'm here to speak on behalf of all the hundreds of residents who don't live there yet, but will live within walking distance of the Dos Rios station. And it's really important for them, obviously, to have this because many of the new projects being proposed do not include parking because we're trying to get people out of their cars and onto light rail and into public transportation. So thank you for considering this, and I appreciate your time.
Thank you. Dylan Tucker.
Hi, thank you for your time. I'm Dylan Tucker. I'm a resident of the River District and a SAC-RT writer, transit writer. Basically, I just want to say thank you for reconsidering this. And the transportation component of the development of Marisol Village was promised to the residents in the community and is vital to create a truly healthy, livable, and equitable neighborhood. Access to both affordable homes and transit is imperative to strengthen and stabilize families with low incomes and neighborhoods that have suffered from disinvestment for decades. In short, I support the construction of the Dos Rios transit station. Thank you.
Thank you. And finally, Lachelle Dozier.
Good afternoon. It's a little bit taller. There we go. I won't drop the mic like Barbara did. I just really wanted to say, first of all, thank you for reconsideration. I'll keep this very, very short. Someone told me a long time ago, if it looks like things are going well, shouldn't talk too long. So with that, I just really want to say thank you to SGC for the reconsideration and giving us additional time to answer the questions that have been brought before. I think the staff report outlined everything in great detail, so I appreciate that. And in addition to that, I also want to make sure you understand that we are very committed to Marisol Village, and we will be tenacious in terms of helping to fill the gaps, if there are any, in terms of funding. Senator Ashby has done an excellent job of supporting us. So at the local, federal, state level, we will work tirelessly to make sure that this project comes to fruition and to look for all those additional resources and support. Thank you.
Thank you. That's the last card I have from the public. Is there any member of the public that inadvertently did not turn in a card who would like to speak? Okay, then back to the board.
You have one.
There's 4 online as well.
Oh, okay, thank you. We'll go ahead and
I was gonna be surprised if you're just gonna hold up the wall back there.
Well, you know I couldn't do that. Are we family today or what do I?
Always.
I'll take it as we're not family, but thank you. Keisha Harris, I just wanted to say a short statement and let you know that I am a resident of the River District and I am absolutely in support of the light rail station, the Dos Rios light rail station. I've been here for many meetings. And so I'm glad that we finally got to this point and just very hopeful this evening. So thank you for allowing me to speak.
Thank you. We have one more and then we'll go to the phones.
Hi, my name is Marcelina. I just want to thank the board. I figured since everybody else said thank you, I might as well come up and say thank you also. It's much appreciated. Thanks for looking out. Have a wonderful day and Happy New Year. And I wanted to thank Senator Ashby also. Thank you.
Thank you for coming in. Appreciate it. Okay, let's go to the phones.
Okay, we have Patty Gaynor.
Patty, are you there?
Yes, hi. I'm Patty Gaynor. I'm a volunteer in numerous ways in the community. I also want to state that I appreciate all the work that went into preparing for this meeting by the staff and, of course, the board, and that you're reconsidering this. I won't reiterate, all that's been said. Excuse me. I am a strong supporter of expanding the whole light rail, and especially this Dos Rios station. I live at Quinn Cottages, which is part of the River District, and I want to to point out. I'm not sure everyone's considered this fully. At least it hasn't been explicitly stated in the things that I've read or what I've heard people talk about. And that is that, basically this is an equity and justice issue for people who are poor and who are, people of color and elders. And then also what people forget a lot of times is people with disabilities. I am a person with several serious conditions that are disabling. And I'm a senior now. And so I can attest to the fact that disabled people who have disabilities, we have a very difficult time just getting out. So we have numerous challenges to overcome just to get out into the community.
Can you wrap up, please?
Yes. And so I see this really as, I don't know if you've thought about it, but I see this as a really important thing for disabled and seniors.
Great. Thank you very much for calling in. Appreciate it. Next caller, please.
Gail Morgan.
Good afternoon. I'm Gail Morgan. I'm commissioner with SHRA. One of the things that I was going to mention earlier before you change your stance, I'd just like to mention it still. And as far as bus and rail goes, I really do favor buses over rail. But in this situation, the rail is an infill station. I think your long-term costs are going to be substantially lower than if you're looking at a new station at the end of the route somewhere where you've got a lot of other costs. For the train to stop there on its way to the next station doesn't cost anything. And with somebody who lives outside of that district, coming in and doing business with businesses in that district, having a light rail stop would be tremendously helpful to people like me. I also reside in a power chair, and to stop and shop in that neighborhood at the Kelly Paper or a couple other places there, having a light rail station is abundantly better than the bus 33 even. Thank you very much. I appreciate you reconsidering this item and your positive vote on this issue.
Thank you very much. Next caller, please.
We have Sacramento Metro Advocate for Rail and Transit.
Yeah, hi, Steve Cohn, Chair of SMART, Sacramento Advocates for Rail and Transit. And I want to thank the board for reconsidering this item. I think it's better late than never, and I'm glad we're getting to this point. I do want to thank Senator Ashby and all of you who have been involved in keeping this project alive. There's a reason it was so successful in getting state and federal grants, because it connects so many different policy areas, from affordable housing to climate to air quality, equity, and of course, transit access. So thanks again for supporting the motion.
Thank you.
And Rick Hodgkins.
Rick.
Yes.
Go ahead, Rick.
Excuse me. Okay. Why am I hearing an echo? Because I don't have the meeting on in the background. I'm using my phone still.
We can hear you just fine without an echo, Rick.
Okay, well, I can hear an echo even if you can't. But in any case, I do support this project, even though I don't live in the River District. Living in Citrus Heights, I love the River District, particularly because I just love, you're near Old Sacramento, you're near the rail yards, and that's one of my favorite places in Sacramento, other than downtown Sacramento and the California Exposition and State Fair, of course, and being out on our rivers. So I support this project, and I know that this is a step towards the Green Line out to the airport. And I know Senator Ashby, that when she was a Sacramento City Council member, has definitely had grave concerns about where to put light rail on the way out to the airport. And that's a subject for yet another day and yet another time. But I support this project, not only because I love the River District, but also because of it's a step forward towards going to the airport. And also, I will be back with you later on to speak on general public comment. Thank you.
Thank you, Rick. Is that our final call?
Yes.
All right. I also want to say that I was contacted earlier by former Assembly member Roger Dickinson, who wanted me to convey to the board, if you haven't seen his letter, that he too is in favor of moving forward with the project.
Sure.
Yes, sir.
I think the community's waited long enough, so I'm going to call the question.
I would agree with that. Then with that, please roll call vote. I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. But we have called the question.
Well, that would be
Yeah, we already have a motion in a second.
Mr. Sir.
Yeah, that's fine.
Go ahead.
Thank you. And I didn't know it. As my good friend, Chair Patrick Kennedy said, you don't have to be a huge mathematician to count the votes here. And this is going to pass, and so I'm really going to make my comments very concise. But one of the things I've done on numerous occasions already is I've gone out and I've driven where the station will go in and to the next light rail station, and it's 1 mile and 3 minutes. It's like 3 minutes every single time, no matter what I catch red lights or whatever. And we're going to spend approximately now $43 million so that somebody doesn't have to ride in a bus from 1 mile and take 3 minutes. It's a terrible slap in the face to taxpayers, I think. But not only that, it's a slap in the face also to what this board is as far as a Sacramento Regional Transit District. I asked the staff to prepare some maps, and I'm just going to not even use them other than to say, light rail goes out to Watt Avenue, and then after that, there are hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people that live in the county after that, and even just over the line into Roseville and Rockland areas. that would probably jump on light rail if it existed over in that area. There's actually an area right at the line of Citrus Heights and Roseville that had a couple of shopping centers, big lots, and a studio movie grill was supposed to go in. Nice big chunk of land there, make a great light rail station. But we're not going to be able to do anything like that or even think about that because we're going to spend $43 million to put a light rail station in so that somebody doesn't have to take a bus for 3 minutes. It's not what you're supposed to do as an elected leader. You're supposed to be a steward of tax dollars too. And I don't mind the people in Los Rios having a light rail station. I think that would be wonderful. I think more of them would be wonderful. But we're also supposed to look at them from a practical standpoint too. And I think we're going to miss that on this case. But I'm just going to comment on one speaker who said that this will allow the city to be a trailblazer. And that's exactly correct. This is just, once again, something that's going to benefit the city of Sacramento. There are 53 light rail stations, and there are 44 of them in the city of Sacramento. So at some point, hopefully we do become a regional transit district. We see light rail push out to the edges of the county. We see it get down into Elk Grove, where again, there are just hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people. And we truly push more towards a regional transit district. That's it.
Thank you, Director.
Chair Kennedy? Oh, sorry.
Now I'd like to call the question.
Yeah, where are we at? I hear voices.
Could I?
Oh, okay.
Thanks, Chair Kennedy. I just, as one of the new board members, just wanted to, I'll keep my comments short, but first I just wanted to say thank you to all the residents for being here today. I also just want to thank them for their continued advocacy. And then I also want to thank all of my colleagues on our RT board. I want to give a shout out to Laura, our general manager, SACOG, everyone that was really involved in this work to get to this moment. And I especially want to give a shout out to State Senator Angelique Ashby for stepping up and for committing her efforts and advocating for additional state and federal funding for this project. This project will be a lifeline for so many residents, right? At the end of the day, for me, and I think for our region, this is about access and equity, not just in the city of Sacramento, but for our region. And so I just want to reiterate, one of the public commenters had said, you know, affordable housing only works if there is reliable transportation and vice versa. And I just wanted to center and uplift that. And that's what we're really voting on today. It's really thinking about our region and thinking about systems. And so just, I want to say thank you to everyone who worked really hard working through all the messiness to get to this moment. And I'm just proud to have the opportunity to vote on this very important project tonight. So thank you so much.
All right, thank you very much, Director. Now, I am afraid that Mr. Cerna has been very patient and called the question twice, so I will ask for a roll call vote.
Director Brewer.
Aye.
Director Budge.
So I'm voting for this reluctantly for a lot of the reasons that Brett articulated. But also, when we talk about promises, Rancho Cordova was supposed to get a light rail station at the library when this system was first designed, and we're still waiting for it. If you all will remember, some of you will remember, we had people who came from Friends of the Library and actually got a bus to finally stop at the library for a while, but that was for a while. They're just, everything we're trying to do here at Regional Transit, when you consider the amount of environmental cleanup that probably needs to go on that property and the experience that a lot of us have with environmental cleanup, it's not just Rancho Cordova, it's the city of Sacramento. Everybody remembers what it was like to get the Curtis Park area clean. This is not a good financial decision, but I'm willing to vote for it.
Thank you. Please continue the roll call.
Director Daniels.
No.
Director Hume.
So I come from a long line.
Aye.
Director Jennings.
Enthusiastically, yes.
Director Kozlowski.
Yes.
Director Maple. Aye. Director Cerna.
Aye.
Director Singh Allen.
Yes.
Director Valenzuela.
Yes.
Director Vang.
Yes.
Chair Kennedy.
Aye.
Motion passes with 11 votes.
Okay, thank you very much, and thank you for all the members of the public for being here. That takes us to item number 6, which is items, matters not on the agenda. I do have a few cards, and I will check for go with the phones afterwards. First is Robert Copeland. You have 2 minutes.
Hi, I'm a member of ACE, which is a statewide organization. We do housing and transportation. There is a high school called New Tech High School. The nearest bus stop to New Tech is at a liquor store. I don't see why you want to put a bus stop by a liquor store where a lot of high school students go to. That don't make sense to me. I agree with one of the other speakers. Housing and transportation go hand in hand. So if you put more housing by a light rail station, by a bus stop, you're going to get more revenue for RT, and we can fund the project Director Daniels wants. Thank you.
Thank you. Michael Bevins.
Hello, board. Now for something completely different.
Can you lift the microphone just a bit?
Oh, there we go.
Thank you.
We have a gap problem. I just want to tell you this little story. I was trying to visit my father-in-law, and he lives in Orangeville. One day, I was going to try out the TriMet system, so I tried to get there, and I could not do it because there is no bus service basically to Orangeville. And I figured, okay, well, I'll do the bus, Smart Ride. Okay. He's just outside the border, so they wouldn't even calculate the time. Plus, I don't think it ran on weekends, so you can't get there from here. And I'm seeing with our transit expansion into Folsom from 30-minute wait to 15-minute wait, and that's all great. But on the other side of that transit system, there's this big black hole. You can't get from Folsom to Orangeville. There is no bus service. That's just from looking at a map. Maybe there is, and I don't know about it, but just from looking at a map, there is no way to do it. So my suggestion is we fill the gap. The number 1 line goes all the way to Sunrise Transit Center and stops. It should continue to Folsom. Problem solved. And there are also some other gaps. If you're in Elk Grove and you want to go to Folsom, you can't get there by bus, at least not a direct shot. That's another gap that maybe should be filled. And with the gaps being filled, there should be a route, some way, to get from one side of the regional transit district to the other, by diverting light rail. If you don't have to go to downtown Sacramento, you should be able to take a bus. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Bevins. Coca-Cola.
Coca-Cola, District 4. This is way off track. This is related to pets on light rail. Is there a way to modify the prohibited conduct rules under General SAC RT laws and rules, items number 5 and number 6, to somehow accommodate animals in strollers? If you feel there's a path to this, is there anything as a citizen that I can do to help or advocate or expedite? Thanks. The point is the current animal companion is not able to fit in a box on my lap. So just wondering. Okay, thanks.
Thank you. Jeffrey Tartagia.
To the board. Half of you, you are new. I hope that you will encourage, should we say, Chairman Kennedy, to have one or more workshops, particularly to recognize for the new low floor light rail vehicles, but also to recognize what was pointed out through this present situation is there is an inadequate service for buses connecting people together. I agree that number one should be extended out there. I agree there's a couple of other areas that need to be revised and revamped. And you need to plan for what's going on this year on Broadway. I don't see that you've really done that yet, as much as you've discussed it a little. You need to bring the public involved with this, and you haven't done that. Expansion for the future is great, but making sure things, and this is where I go, Henry, the first thing we had to deal with was the elevator. That was almost your first thing that you, when you were general manager. Right now, it stinks of the Clorox. It's probably because of the holding tanks down there below. So again, maintenance and evaluation and assessments need to be continued, not leaving it to go by as it currently is had in a number of maintenance issues. And with that, I will stop.
Thank you, Jeffrey. That's all the cards that I have from the audience. Do we have anyone on the phone?
There is a couple hands up. You wanna-
Chair,
Yes, Henry.
last board meeting, Director Budge asked us to bring the police dog Blue to come to this side. I think our dog is there, but the dog needs to go to provide a service. So just want to show you guys to the board, to the dog. Then we continue.
Thank you, Henry. I had a great time visiting with Blue.
Henry, this is cutting into your general manager's report. Yes, I know. I've lost control.
I'm so jealous I don't get to meet the dog.
I'd like to point out that he did not stop at me.
If he did, it was Fergus.
Okay, back to the phones.
Okay, we have Rick Hodgkins.
Rick?
All right. Hello, everybody. Okay, tough act to follow. I would agree that if there is not a bus out to Orangeville anymore, that needs to be resolved. I would highly recommend that if we are going to have Smart Ride, and if we are going to expand it and extend it beyond 7 o'clock, that we contract with either Lyft or Uber to help us do so. If not, then we should scrap that. We should scrap Smart Ride if we're not willing to expand it or extend it. We need federal funding, or that we need to contract with Lyft or Uber. So that's my idea to getting buses out to Orangeville and also expanding and extending Smart Ride. Otherwise, why don't we scrap it? Next issue I have, and this has been eating at me for some time, I could see why when you're on the bus and light rail, and if you're listening to music, you need to have earbuds or earphones or headphones or whatnot. You wouldn't believe how many times I've heard bus drivers and also fare ambassadors on the train tell people to please use those things so that they can listen to their music privately, so that the rest of us don't have to hear it. But that what about for us blind people with cell phones that which talk? And some people play games on the train or bus that which don't have headphone jacks. Thank you. That is all.
Thank you, Rick. Next call.
Michael Harris.
Michael. Michael, are you there?
Do you see him twice?
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, great.
Well, Chair, it's good hearing your voice, and friends on the board, it's wonderful. Happy New Year. As a success story of Dos Rios Housing Project, the Head Start, I went to kindergarten knowing how to read and write. It's just a wonderful thing. So this year is the 24th year of California Rosa Parks Day, transit, equity, and inclusion. And I think tonight's hearing is an example of why RT has been a partner with us for all 24 years. Monday, February 5th, we're at the state capitol. Old Blue is scheduled to be in front of the bus. This year, we're going to talk about the hidden figures of the Women's Political Council of Montgomery, Alabama, those that 10 years prior to Rosa on the bus, she was a patron saint for the Women's Political Council for her work with the NAACP years before that, over a decade. But the beautiful thing is that as we are looking at transit, and people are correctly to say that we're looking at money, well, yeah, if we leverage, climate change with what we're doing with transit, 1 mile, 2 miles, if it gets people off the road, it's a good thing. But the reality is that we have to be creative in finding funding, and I think this process identified that process. Y'all be well.
Thank you very much, Michael.
At Rosa Parks.
That's it.
That's it?
That is it.
Okay, thank you very much. And with that, we will move on to item 7.1. This is proposal to extend the term of the current chair, Patrick Kennedy, and Vice Chair Rick Jennings for 1 more year as chair and vice chair of the SAC-RT board for 2024. Is there a discussion?
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by Director Budge, second by Director Cerna. Please call the roll.
Director Brewer.
No.
Aye.
Yes.
Director.
Is there any public comment on this, by the way?
There's no public comment.
Okay, thank you.
That was done in a spirit of efficiency.
Yes.
Okay, Director Budge.
Yes.
Director Daniels.
Aye.
Director Hume.
Aye.
Director Jennings.
Yes.
Director Kozlowski.
Yes.
Director Maple.
Aye.
Director Cerna.
Aye.
Director Singh Allen.
Aye.
Director Valenzuela.
Yes.
Director Vang.
Yes.
And Chair Kennedy.
Aye.
Motion passes with 12 votes.
Right. Thank you very much, board. Thank you, Mr. Jennings, for stepping up to join me. With that, we're now on 7.2 appointments to boards and commissions, or committees, I'm sorry. The first being A, which is the appointment of 1 board member of management staff and 1 member of the board. Currently is myself serving to represent the board and Mr. Lee with Ms. Valentin as a alternate. Is there any interest in changing that up? Does anybody have a burning desire to serve on 5 retirement boards?
Move to keep it as is.
Okay. Believe we can just make the appointment then. Okay. Second is the reappointments or appointment of board members to the Ad Hoc Real Estate Committee. Currently serving on that are myself, Mr. Jennings, Ms. Budge, Mr. Kozlowski, Mr. Daniels, and Ms. Singh Allen. Is there any one of those who is not interested in continuing service on this committee? Okay, is there anybody who again has a burning need to participate in this? All right, then we will move on to item C, which is reappointment or appointment members of the Ad Hoc Composition and Voting Structure Subcommittee. Currently, we have Mr. Jennings, Mr. Hume, Ms. Budge, Mr. Kozlowski, Mr. Daniels, and member Singh Allen. Again, are there any members of the body that are no longer interested in serving? Hearing none, are there any others that would like to serve on that committee? All right, it's actually well-rounded as far as geographically, so I'm glad that we are going to stick with that. Thank you very much.
Chair Kennedy?
Yes.
So the admin code that was just passed on the consent calendar, if you could establish a timeline for those committees for 12 months? The ad hoc committees.
Yes. Yeah,
Okay.
Yes. For a limited time period because they're ad hoc. Yes. So those will be for 12 months for 2024.
Yes.
Okay.
Do we need a motion for that? Then move approval?
Second?
Okay, we have a motion by Director Budge, a second by, was that Mr. Brewer?
Yes.
Please call the roll.
Director Brewer,
Aye.
Director Budge,
Yes.
Director Daniels,
Aye.
Director Hume,
Aye.
Director Jennings,
Yes.
Director Kozlowski,
Yes.
Director Maple,
Aye.
Director Cerna,
Aye.
Director Singh Allen,
Aye.
Director Valenzuela,
Yes.
and Director Vang,
Yes.
and Chair Kennedy.
Aye.
Motion passes with 12 votes.
Thank you. Now we're at director's questions, public comment, director comments. Is there any comments that the board?
Actually, we're
Well,
at
that's
General
next.
Manager's report.
Well, not according to the scripts you gave me.
Oh.
Chair, I'd like to revisit items.
Okay, 8.1 General Manager's report, Mr. Lee.
Good afternoon. Happy New Year and welcome to our first 4 p.m. new meeting time. At the December board meeting, we presented SACRT's FY23 financial statements and audit. The auditors have issued a clean opinion on the financial statements with no findings. Over the last 7 years, we have been able to receive budget savings year by year, each year ranging from $3 million to $10 million every year. Last year alone, we incurred additional costs outside of our control, such as price spikes in CNG and the insurance premiums. That two together close to $8 million. I'm proud of the finance team and the entire agency staff for focusing on our physical sustainability and the financial soundness. And even with the unexpected spike in cost factors, our operating revenues exceeded expenditures, resulting in a yearly budget surplus of $3.2 million last year, even though we had a cost increase close to $8 million, but we still achieved $3.2 million in saving. So, great thanks to our, team, staff, and also thanks to our board for instilling strong financial oversight, accountability. Then next slide. I also want to share that SACRT hosted a meeting with community benefit organizations in December to discuss safety and how we can best communicate our youth, the young generation, the youth challenges. The meeting included representatives from the school districts and police services and others. I just want to thank Vice Chair Jennings for recommending to include Greg Kane from the nonprofit organization called Always Locking Inc. and the Black Child Legacy campaign. The meeting was highly productive, and we promised to share any youth-related concerns we experienced. And a follow-up meeting was held last week as we work on solutions to youth showing inappropriate behavior on our system without the use of a police officer. And we are working on a draft SACRT campaign to roll out this spring. Next slide. As you know, we have begun construction to add a double tracking or passing track in the city of Folsom that will enable us to provide 15-minute service on the last 7 miles of the Gold Line. As a result of the construction, we are operating a bus bridge during the 6-month project period. Customers are encouraged to download the free SACRT alert SACRT app or visit SACRT's website to stay informed. We also continue to make progress on the station platform modifications to accommodate the new low-floor trains. Starting today, SAC-RT began 4 platform modifications at the Sunrise Station. You can find the station construction schedule on our website as we continue 4 station platform construction through the summer of this year. Then to conclude my remarks, I want to share that we continue to have a steady ridership recovery as we concluded 2023. For the current year, we finished it approximately 23% higher ridership than in 2022. And in fact, driven by, in large part, by our Ride-Free RT program, our November and December bus ridership was nearly 100% recovered versus pre-pandemic levels. So as you can see in the photo, many buses where's the photo? Filled with students coming and going to school. I think we didn't put that photo there, right? Okay. And as we enter 2024, we hope to continue to expand our Ride-Free RT program. And we would love to expand our service and build and develop more city connection from Folsom to Elk Grove. Unfortunately, as we repeatedly emphasized, our local sales tax or local funding for transit is among the lowest compared to our peer agencies in the state, this great state of California. We only receive 1/5 of 1 penny sales tax, while other major cities receive, transit agencies receive 1 penny, 1.5 penny sales tax for the local transit systems. So, but even we receive very little local funding, we have been doing greatly, and we are doing more with less. Last year alone, we received over $150 million discretionary grants. And that is just, very, a challenging task, but it's a very, it's excellent result. And we will soon be announcing some new challenging and awards to get more students further engaged with our program and get more students to ride our system. That concludes my remarks. Chair, get back to you. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there any questions, Mr. Lee, report?
Rick Hodgkins has his hand up.
Rick.
All right, can you hear me?
Yes.
All right, I just wanted to point out that since getting my free Connect card at last month's meeting, I have put it to good use, and that when the low floor light rail cars start rolling, hopefully later on this year, I'll be able to experience those because I'm extremely excited about that. And real quick, can someone please contact, I forgot to say this on the last general public comment. Can someone please call me with regards to the use of cell phones and stuff on buses and light rail for blind people? Thank you.
Great, thank you very much. Any others?
That's it.
All right, then with that, if there's no other questions or ideas from the board? Yes, sir.
Thank you. Just wanted to share an idea with our general manager and his staff, if it hasn't already been cited. But it occurs to me, especially with the Los Rios station issue being in front of us so frequently as of late.
Dos Rios.
Dos Rios, sorry. That we have a substantial amount of new state occupancy that's going to take place very shortly across from the Green Line station. And it occurred to me that given the timing of deployment of our new low floor cars and the fact that I would anecdotally assume that we could see really pretty substantial jumps in ridership of the Green Line, obviously, from a single train set to something more, that we should deliberately think about deploying the low floor cars specifically for that green line section, more or less to put our best foot forward for those new riders that can take advantage of that almost direct service to their doorstep, which is just across the street from the transit stop. Because I think, we can stand to gain hundreds, if now not maybe even thousands of folks from across the service shed, that if they see that there's new shiny cars, they're relatively clean, the experience is going to be something that they remember and perhaps put a lot of stock in early, that we stand to see ridership continue to grow on that particular extension of the system. So I would ask you respectfully to look into the possibility of deliberately putting those low floor cars into use for that green line section. Thank you.
Thank you. Any others? Hearing and seeing none, we're adjourned. I'm hungry.